Welcome back to another health talk that we've got with clinical nutritionist Mr. Ross Harty. Ross is normally based in Cairns or up far north Queensland, and we have the pleasure of his company today. We're going to debunk some of the myths that are out there, that some of the stories we've been told for years on things that now have been proven not to be true. So, good afternoon, Ross.
Good afternoon, Joan and everyone.
Okay, so we're just going to touch on a few subjects today because we could have lots of these, but we'll just do, say, 3 today and we'll go from there. So I think one of the biggest myths that have been around for a while, and I guess there is some truth in it, depending on what you use, and that is that salt is bad for you. What are your thoughts on that, Ross?
Yeah, well, salt is so important for us, and it's how I can prove it is with people slowly taking a little bit more salt, and the good salt. The 1980s was a really bad decade. We were told so many myths and untruths, and salt is one of them. So when I talk about salt, the good salt is Himalayan salt.
So the normal table salt that we get, that we find in most restaurants or we find in most homes, that is the bad salt?
That's right, Joan. And I agree with medical doctors. I work with doctors, surgeons, professors, dentists, all sorts of professionals. And we all agree that sodium chloride or table salt is actually bad for us. It will harden the arteries. It will increase our blood pressure. It destroys the outer walls of every cell in our body. But funnily enough, when we go to a hospital and we get a saline drip put in, it's actually 9% sodium chloride or table salt.
That doesn't seem right. That if you go in there to get better, they're going to give you something that's not quite good for you.
But really what they're doing is they're giving us some mineral, but they're hydrating our body. That's really what it is.
Okay. I was reading an article recently by Dr. Jason Fung. Now, for those who don't know about Dr. Jason Fung, he is a great advocate for intermittent fasting. And if you want some information on him, go Google him. So Dr. Jason Fung, he has some interesting things that he can tell you. You can learn a lot from him. But I read in this article where he was agreeing with you is that salt has been given a very bad rap, and it's actually very good for us. So, you agree with that. So what do we need to do to make salt a better friend in our daily life?
Okay, so we simply can add a slight or a little pinch of salt to our drinking water. We can put it on our food. We can have salt baths, which will actually help us detox. Salt is so important for people with arthritis, and just recently I've had some very good success stories with people with RA or rheumatoid arthritis that were in so much pain on heavy medications and being able to get off these medications. And salt was one of the main ingredients to reverse their conditions.
Okay, so you say rheumatoid arthritis. So how does that work?
So the body is in inflammation mode. The immune system is turning on itself, and salt will get rid of the acid out of our body and try and make it neutral or alkaline. That's the basis behind it.
So we come back to this alkaline again, and I guess the intake of water is critical in this issue as well.
Absolutely. So anyone with autoimmune disease, they are on fire. How do we put fire out? Salt and water.
Okay, that's it. So what are some of the conditions that are the autoimmune?
So we've got the lupuses, the MS. MS is very, very important, that you must have salt, a balanced salt.
Okay.
See, table salt, it has been high temperatures. It has been bleached. So all the people say, well, what about salting? Well, salting's been out of and taken out of.
Okay. So you were saying before about salt baths. Now, I've had some experience. I have a foot bath that we use Himalayan salt in it to detox the body. And, I mean, it does pull some gunk out of your body when you sit in this for an hour and have the arrays going in the water. So it is a bit amazing, and I'm always a little bit gobsmacked on how well that works.
And it does. It drags toxins and lactic acid out of tissue and joints. So it is critical that really we are made up of about 70-75% salt and water. But typically, majority of us walking around are dehydrated to some degree.
Is that on a constant basis?
Absolutely. The people that I see, if they've got heart issues, it's like the heart's like a radiator in a car. If you're not drinking enough water, take half the water out of the radiator and drive 500 kilometres. The car's going to overheat. It's going to run a little bit rough. You'll get there, but if you end up in the return trip, you fill the radiator up, it's going to drive like a pussycat, and everything's going to be nice and smooth. You're not going to overheat. There's not going to be any issues.
But I was under the impression that with people with cardiovascular is that they restrict their fluid intake. Is that not a contradiction?
It is, and what I end up doing, I work very closely with the patient and also their medical doctor, and I'll say to the medical doctor, let's take their blood pressure at 10 o'clock every morning for 5 days, and we will slowly see within 5 working days their blood pressure is starting to decrease already, just with a little increase of sodium or the Himalayan pink salt, and with the extra water intake.
So I guess a lot of that comes back to the extra water intake, comes back to solving a lot of the problems that we have discussed before. So that just makes more sense. But I do know that some heart patients are restricted with their fluid intake.
Yes, that's right, Joan. And the importance of water and salt is drummed into med school in the early days of med school. And I just follow those procedures.
Okay. Well, that sounds reasonable. So we just add a bit more salt to our food or to our cooking and our drinking water to get a little bit more every day. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So, and I will readdress that and say pink Himalayan salt. Years ago, it was very hard to get. Now, all the supermarkets seem to be carrying it.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. If it's that readily available to everybody, that has to be a great thing. Now, one of the other items that we want to discuss is vitamin C. So we've been told that vitamin C is good for you, for your colds, to keep flu away, all those things. What do you have to tell us about it?
Absolutely. Vitamin C is critical, and particularly around this time of the year, the May, June, July, August time, where colds and flus are a little bit more prevalent. We need to take our lemons and our limes and our grapefruit and oranges, even though we can see in research that they are lower numbers in vitamin C than they used to be 20, 30, 40 years ago. There are more vitamin C in a capsicum than an orange.
So should we just be eating a capsicum like an apple?
And we can do that in a salad very, very easily, or just in a slow roast in an oven, and you can stuff capsicums and make them into healthy meals.
Okay, so what other sources have good vitamin C content in them?
So the vegetables are very, very good, mostly with vitamin C. So the eggplants, as I say, the capsicums, zucchini as well. The main benefits is really the limes and the grapefruit.
Okay, so we have the herb, is cayenne pepper, is that a good source of vitamin C?
Yes, cayenne pepper is one. And turmeric also is, they do have good anti-inflammatory issues that will reverse those. So they are very, very good for anti-inflammatory health issues.
Okay, so with the properties of those fruit and veggies being so high, should we be eating them on a daily basis or not?
We should. We don't produce vitamin C. Animals do produce vitamin C. Humans do not.
So we don't store it at all?
No, and in fact we burn it out. So we need to take it at least twice a day. So by having a capsicum, say, at night time, we need to have a juice in the morning or vitamin C powder in the morning and some at night time.
Okay, so can you overdose on vitamin C?
If you do, the only thing that will happen is that you might get some diarrhea.
Okay, so the body will just disperse it if we do take too much?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so that's good to know. So what about vitamin C supplements?
So vitamin C supplements, the powdered form is much, much better than the tablet form that you can get from health food shops or supermarkets nowadays. Mix it with water or mix it with some juice. The children can take it. There are 3 different types, I suppose. Some aren't very palatable. They can be quite bitter, the sodium and the calcium form, and we just need to get one that the children will take and the adults will take, and one that's going to do its job as well.
I always taught my kids that it didn't matter about the taste. If they had to have it, they had to have it. So I guess maybe that doesn't count so much these days.
No, not really. We just need to get our bodies more in tune and give them all the needs that they need. So whether it's minerals or vitamins or amino acids, that's what we need to do.
Okay, all right. So do we have anything else on vitamin C? What does it treat? Are there any other issues? Can it be mixed with other vitamins and minerals?
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes very well with vitamin A and E. So the old ACE, the ACE, it still rings true today and helps the body to get over viruses and many different ailments.
Okay, all right. So the next one that we wanted to talk about was probiotics.
Yeah, so probiotics, it's a little bit of a myth that probiotics are all the same. And I'm here to tell you that all probiotics are not the same. In fact, very far from it. So there are probiotics and there's super symbiotics, a pre and probiotic. And I typically use the super symbiotic. And as we regain the small intestines, large intestines health.
Okay, so you're saying that if you're using a probiotic, then your gut health will improve?
Absolutely. Bad bacteria can be inhibited, if we get enough good bacteria numbers, to destroy the baddies. They strengthen the immune system to fight off other health issues that are from a weakened small intestine.
Okay.
So it's stated we're made up of 100 trillion cells. 10 trillion are human, 90 trillion is bacteria cells inside of us. So we've got to put the goodies in to help the body.
Okay, they're big numbers.
They are, and I'm glad I don't have to count them.
No, me either. Okay, so what are some of the conditions that probiotics may help to improve? Okay,
so naturally gut issues like leaky gut syndrome and Crohn's disease, the autoimmune diseases, there's over 110 of those. Rheumatoid arthritis, like I said before, lupus, asthma, colorectal cancer, autism, SIDS. SIDS is an amazing one that can be squashed into the ground when the mums are using the probiotic during
pregnancy.
Tourette's syndrome, prostatitis, chronic fatigue is well known that we can get rid of that along with the probiotic. Fibromyalgia, thrush, and cystitis. And it was one of the keys to my motor neuron man in reversing his condition.
So if it can help those issues, those challenges, what about food allergies? What about the allergies to peanuts and things like that? So does that help in this situation as well?
Absolutely, 100%. So I've had many, many people over the years, and one that comes to mind is a man who had to lose weight to have surgery, to have lap band surgery, which I wasn't happy about, but that was his choice. And he wanted to have shakes, but he was so dairy intolerant he couldn't go near milk. And it had, in those days, a small amount of skim milk in it to help it disperse in water. And he would not take this product until I just convinced him to give it a go. And within a couple of weeks, he could drink full-blown milk, which he could not do for well over 10 years. So he ended up losing the weight with exercise and a diet that we put him on. But all his intolerances to gluten and to dairy had gone away.
What, just disappeared?
It disappeared.
Wow.
I've got story. I could talk for an hour on some of the conditions that the food allergies, they disappeared with this product.
Wow, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
That's pretty big. So, okay, food intolerances can be eliminated.
Yes, they can. And the amazing part about this product is if you've got diarrhea, it can calm it down. If you've got constipation, it can help you go. So it puts the bowel intestines into normal good bacteria and into normal operating services.
Okay, that sounds fantastic. I read a story the other day where a lady had, she had severe allergies and gut problems, all sorts of stuff like that, and she went on a course of this, and I believe that she had a pizza the other weekend and had no issues with that at all. Is that true?
Yeah, that's correct. She was very, very nervous. She had not had any fast foods like that for, I think, about 3 years. And she was very nervous, and I reassured her that she could go out and enjoy the night. And she thought that she'd give a slice of pizza a go. And even during the night, she was so nervous. woke up the next morning and she wasn't covered in blotches or red rashes anywhere. And we're just going through the phase now of doing it once a week to slowly reintroduce foods to her that was dangerous to her.
Okay.
And everything's still okay.
Okay. No, that's wonderful.
The right advice.
Okay. So you come to Brisbane and the Gold Coast about once every 6 weeks or something at the moment, don't you?
Yeah, and Australia-wide.
And you can go Australia-wide. So people, if you've got a group of people that you would like Ross to talk to, then you can contact him and we'll give you those details at the end of the call. So, Ross, anything else that you would like to talk about? And any other things that you'd like to say that maybe will help somebody out there? Okay, so of course, we are finding out how better products will work all the time. And I mean, I do a lot of research on different products, and that, I mean, I've had some serious health issues like 40 odd years ago, which, you know, we've managed to safely get through that. So it's been a journey for me to research. So I would like to thank you for your time today, Ross, and I look forward to the next time that you're down and we have a get-together with Dr. Bill Kellner-Reid, the holistic dentist, and you can share some of this information and people can come up and talk to you and maybe see you when you're down next time?
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks, Joan. And I do home visits. A lot of people don't realise that it's their home environment that is making them sick. So if you come to my office, I'm not ever going to know that it's your drinking water that's causing your issues, or mould, or it could be the dog or the cat. So it's what I do. I go to people's homes and I research why you have got your particular illness, and I don't give in until I find out what has actually caused it. Because if you don't do that, it's going to be on forever and a day that you're not going to get rid of that particular illness.
So you're really treating the cause and not the symptoms?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. It's not a Band-Aid solution. And a very simple terms with cancer, why people might get tissue cut off them or out of them, and 2 years later, 5 years later, they get cancer back again in another organ or tissue. It's because you never found out what caused the cancer in the first place. We must find the real cause and reverse out of it and stop that from feeding it.
That's very good advice. So if you'd like to talk to Ross, you can phone him on 04 09 47 0155. I'll repeat that for you. So it's 04 09 47 0155. You can also email Ross on behealthy, and that's all lowercase, at 02@yahoo.com.au. So that is behealthy, as in BE, healthy, 02@yahoo.com.au. You can also find him on Facebook, and he will have some of the events posted up there when he is doing the events, and that is Be Healthy, as in a capital B, E, and healthy, as in healthy, and then space in Oz, so a capital IN, capital OZ.